So, hi, welcome to this episode of Reset Revolution. My name is Sara and I am a high school student currently studying in Paris. And today I have invited Alex Silva on this platform to discuss internalized homophobia and the role femininity plays in the gay community. Hi, Alex. Would you like to start off by introducing yourself?
Yeah, so I'm 17. My name's Alex. I also live in Paris. I'm gay.
Can you firstly start off by describing what internalized homophobia is for those who don't know about it?
I mean, to understand internalized homophobia, you need to understand homophobia, which I think a lot of the viewers will know about. But it's just a prejudice and dislike towards the gay community, and I mean towards the whole LGBTQIA plus community, queer community, as I'll refer to it in the rest of the interview. Yeah, so internalized homophobia, like just other like internalized fat phobia and just other forms of internalized oppression, is basically when the oppressed, the gay community, is homophobic towards themselves. And so they might not want to associate with other gay people. They might have a self-hatred towards themselves because they find themselves too feminine, or too expressive, or whatever traits are stereotypically gay. And yeah.
Do you think you were raised to be homophobic?
Yeah, I think as a male in today's society, I'm sure not as much as in the past, but yeah, when I remember before I had ever realized that I was gay in like primary school, I remember like people would make jokes about gay people and I'd join it. I'd be like, oh yeah, like you're so gay and whatever. And then I remember the first time I was in like a music video I was watching, that was the first time that I'd seen an on-screen like two guys kissing. And I remember seeing that and I was like, ew, I was like, what is this? But then luckily I kind of educated myself, like, cause I was like an internet kid kind of. I found like a home on the internet and in like gay communities on the internet kind of. And so I was fine with it when I finally realized that I was gay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you give me some examples of internalized homophobia?
Examples of internalized homophobia could be like denial of yourself, which can affect a lot of people in the gay community. It didn't really affect me personally. And something that has affected me is attempts to alter yourself and to try to act less gay. If you know me, I feel like in the past I was much more feminine than I am now, and that's something that I'm ashamed of. Is that I like fought it out of myself. I still am feminine, but I fought it out of myself. If I think about ways that I've been oppressed in terms of homophobia, that's really the biggest one for me is femininity.
What do you think about the constructs of masculinity and femininity?
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about them more in terms of the queer community, more than how they are in the heterosexual community and just gender roles and stuff, because that's not really my place to say. But in the queer community, well, it's a stereotype, especially for gay guys, to be feminine. I remember people would ask me, and people would like tell me that I was gay before I'd ever even asked myself. People were like, "Are you gay?" And I was like, "No." Then I realized I was. But it's yeah. Usually, femininity is very tied to homosexuality,
Mm-hmm.
and it is also the main trait that I think homophobia attacks. And I personally find that like today wise, at least the homophobia that I encounter is more so towards feminine guys than towards guys who like guys. I feel like today in my community, it's obviously it's not the same everywhere, and I'm like really privileged to be in the community I'm in. When I encounter homophobia, it is towards the feminine parts of me, and people don't seem to really care that I'm attracted to guys, which is a step forward. But then that really does amplify the internalized homophobia, because people like me and me myself, I tend to have a self-hatred when I pick out feminine traits in me. There was a time, I mean, it's getting better now. It's like it's a journey, but there was a time like last year when I'd be walking and I'd be like, oh no, like you're walking too femininely. Or like I'll see a video of me talking and I'm like, no, you're talking too femininely, you're whatever. And that's really what my internalized homophobia stems from. And like, I'm ashamed of it also because I pride myself in being quite progressive and being quite open with it and everything. But it really does affect me. And the thing with internalized homophobia is it's really it's a self journey. It's something you have to fix within yourself. You have to find peace within yourself and satisfaction within yourself. You can't be looking for validation, because that's something I used to do and I do a lot. And there's this speech by Malcolm X, and where he's talking to Black women, and he's saying, you know, like, who taught you to hate yourself? And in terms of Black women, like, who taught you that you need to change your hair to be accepted and everything? And I've never identified more with something that wasn't about me. I really feel like I was for sure taught that femininity in guys was unattractive. You know, I've been broken up with because the guy has said that I'm too feminine, and like that affects me when it shouldn't. And then people also, they'll tell me like, oh, you know, like, if I didn't know you were gay, like I wouldn't have realized, you know, and they'll say it as if it's a compliment, which I'm ashamed of. I sometimes take it as a compliment because I, you know, have that self-hatred for being feminine. Yeah, and countless of times people have told me like, oh, like, you know, like, you don't actually talk that gay, or you don't actually walk that gay, or you don't dress that gay anymore, like whatever. And that also really does fuel into internalized homophobia, because when you say that and you mean it as a compliment, it makes you feel like, oh, like now I'm accepted more because I am more heteronormative. And also in the community, there's this idea in dating where so there's mask for mask guys, where it's like a masculine guy, he'll only date masculine guys. And then there's this stigmatism towards femme guys, which is feminine guys, right? Masculine, feminine. And that affects a lot of people. You know, I'm not really into the gay dating scene. That's not really my thing. But that is a major one, because I think a lot of self-image and what you really care about is a lot of it has to do with relationships and dating. And that's really uprooting the system. If you in the gay community put in homophobia that's that deep into it, that really messes with it.
So Alex, how do you envision the future of the LGBTQIA plus community regarding internalized homophobia?
Well, obviously I dream of a world where none of this affects anyone, you know, and that has to start with me and people now. And with things like this, you know, I think it's important to have an open discussion about it. It's important to realize also for yourself, you know, I never really admitted to myself that I hated myself for my stereotypically gay trait. And yeah, but I think it's possible. I think it's gonna happen. I think one day internalized homophobia really won't be a thing. It'll be a thing of the past.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Alex, for joining us today, and please look forward to our next episodes. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.